Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now is a make or break moment for the price of Bitcoin, while Ethereum is still playing out this head and shoulders pattern. But not many people are paying attention to the Bitcoin order books and the Bitcoin funding rates, which are showing something very interesting right now that we need to pay attention to. So make sure you watch to the end of this video. First of all, starting off on the daily Bitcoin chart, and right now we are still more bearish than bullish on the daily time frame when we're talking about these sort of movements. And obviously, this has been the case ever since we saw a break to the downside from this rising wedge pattern in the Bitcoin price, and also a break to the downside from this ascending line of support in the daily Bitcoin RSI. But considering not much has changed on this chart since yesterday, if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about this chart right here, check out my last video that I posted yesterday on this channel. But anyway, zooming into the 12-hour Bitcoin chart, and right now we're still potentially forming a bullish divergence, but this hasn't yet been confirmed because we haven't actually confirmed a local low in the Bitcoin price. So we need to see at least 1 to 2 12-hour candle closes in the green in order to actually confirm a local low in the RSI, for example, because the RSI goes off candle closes. And if that happens while the Bitcoin price is in lower lows, which it is right now, and while the RSI is in higher lows, which it currently is right now on the 12-hour time frame, then that would of course confirm a bullish divergence. But right now it hasn't actually been confirmed, it's just potentially forming. And while this is happening, if you're looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool drawn from the June low up to the swing high, what we have here is the price of Bitcoin contacting the golden pocket level of support, which is sitting at around $20,000 per Bitcoin, give or take. And so the bullish scenario in the short term would be if the price of Bitcoin confirms this as further support with a slight bounce, which would confirm this bullish divergence. And if that scenario confirms, then we would likely see a further recovery in the Bitcoin price over the next few days, maybe over the next week or so. But like I said, when it comes to the 12-hour time frame, we still have a lack in confirmation, so we need to see some more confirmation whether we're going to see a bounce or a confirmed break below the golden pocket. And in that case, if we see a daily candle close below 20,000, then I would expect a drop down towards this 78.6% Fibonacci level, which is sitting at around 19,000. And going off previous lows, we have already confirmed a lot of support around that $19,000 area. So if the price of Bitcoin does end up breaking below 20,000, then I would expect quite a lot of support at around 19,000. And also that $19,000 support level is also the full technical price target for this rising wedge pattern, which is technically still playing out. And speaking of price targets and patterns that are still playing out, heading over to the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, we still have this bear flag, which is currently playing out the price targets. And in case you're new to this channel, the technical price target for this bear flag pattern is coming into play at around $18,000 per Bitcoin. But keep in mind, between the current price and that $18,000 price target, we still have some short-term support at around $20,000 per Bitcoin, as I just said. And below that, we have that area of support at around 19,000 based on these previous lows and that 78.6% Fibonacci level. And so these levels of support between the current price and that $18,000 price target can, of course, prevent the price of Bitcoin potentially playing out that full $18,000 price target. But either way, when it comes to the short-term trend, I'm still obviously only looking at downside price targets. I'm not talking about upside price targets in the short term, because clearly we are still in a short-term bearish trend. We have not confirmed any sort of bullish reversal, at least as of right now. But what's interesting is if we take a look at the Bitcoin order books, what we can see here, at least when we're looking at these exchanges, is the fact that right now there's a lot more buy orders to the downside than sell orders to the upside, which basically means there's a lot of buying demand. There's a lot of demand for Bitcoin at these lower prices, looking at around 19 to 20,000 in particular. And these buy orders, this buying demand at these lower prices is literally what support is. Because if there's a bunch of people step in and sell a lot of Bitcoin on the market using market taker orders, which dumps the price of Bitcoin, then if there's a lot of buy market maker orders, a lot of buy orders in the order books, then all of that helps soak up any sort of major sell orders. And also, if we take a look at the funding rates for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, what we can see right here, at least at the time of recording this video, is a lot of funding rates for multiple different coins across multiple different exchanges currently in the negative. And in case you're new to all of this, basically negative funding rates means there's a lot of people trying to short Bitcoin or any of these coins with the negative funding rates. And basically, while these funding rates are negative, the short positions have to pay a fee to the long positions, usually every 8 hours, and that fee is calculated by these funding rates. And then when these funding rates are positive, the long positions have to pay that fee to the short positions. So with positive funding rates, there's actually more of an incentive to open a short position because you get paid that extra fee. You essentially earn an extra fee. But in this case, when the funding rates are negative, the long positions essentially earn that extra fee, while the short positions have to pay that extra fee. So it's basically a rebalancing mechanism. When there's too many people trying to short Bitcoin, for example, the funding rates go further and further into the negative, which creates less and less incentive to short Bitcoin in that example. And so due to this, unless the price of Bitcoin keeps going down in the short term, the people shorting Bitcoin, for example, while the funding rates are negative, will be unprofitable. Even if the price just goes sideways, they will still have to pay this extra fee. So basically, if there's enough buying demand coming into play at this area of support, the golden pocket level of support at roughly around 20,000, to simply hold the Bitcoin price at those levels for perhaps the next 1 to 2 days, then in that scenario, due to these funding rates, we'd likely see a rebalancing, meaning that some of the traders shorting Bitcoin or Ethereum, for example, might have to cover their shorts, which means buying back into the underlying assets, and that can help push up the price in the short term. And so I would be expecting a small rebound in the price of Bitcoin if we can simply hold this level of support for even just another day or so, because like I said, while Bitcoin is holding this support and no longer going to the downside in the immediate short term, that is putting some pressure on the short traders due to these funding rates in the negative right now. And by the way, in case you haven't already noticed, the funding rates for Ethereum as well are pretty much all in the negative. So it's the same story for Ethereum in the short term as for Bitcoin, meaning that if Ethereum simply holds this level of support for perhaps the next day or so, then we could see a small rebound after that. And by the way, this level of support that I'm currently watching for Ethereum is the 38.2% Fibonacci level of support when you draw the Fibonacci retracement tool from the June low up to this swing high. And that level of support is sitting at around 1470 approximately. But technically speaking, the price of Ethereum is still actively playing out this rising wedge pattern, with the full technical price target for the rising wedge sitting at around 1400. But anyway, zooming into the 6-hour time frame, and we still have this active head and shoulders pattern, which is currently in play. And as I mentioned yesterday, the full technical price target for this head and shoulders pattern is coming into play at around $1,200 per Ethereum, which is right where this golden pocket is sitting at. But keep in mind, between now and that full technical price target, we have two main levels of support. The first level of support sitting at around 1470 approximately. As I just said, that's that 38.2% Fibonacci level of support. And below that, we do have the 50% retracement level, which is sitting at around 1340. And like Bitcoin, Ethereum in the short term is forming a potential bullish divergence with lower lows in the price action but higher lows in the RSI. But as of right now, this hasn't fully been confirmed, especially on the 12-hour time frame. We still need to see at least 1 to 2 12-hour candle closes in the green to confirm some sort of local low in the RSI, something like this, for example, which has started to potentially confirm on the 4-hour charts. But the higher the time frame, the more significance this has. And as for resistance in the short term for Ethereum, I would be expecting resistance at around 1560 approximately, which is the neckline for this head and shoulders pattern. So just summarizing the situation in the short term, right now both Bitcoin and Ethereum are still trending bearish in the short term. We haven't confirmed a bullish reversal as of right now. So right now I still have downside price targets, but not exactly upside price targets in the short term. But we still need to be aware of other conflicting factors that could change that, such as a possible bullish divergence forming. If this further confirms, like I said, then that could help the price hold this immediate short-term support level for Ethereum and Bitcoin. And like I said, if that plays out over the next day or so, then we could see a little bit of a short-term bounce due to these funding rates helping to rebalance the price. But whether or not the price is going down, up, or just chopping around sideways, you can make money in crypto by watching these videos right here, because the video popping up in the top left of your screen shows you how to make money if the price is going either up or down, and the video in the bottom left of your screen shows you how to make money if the price is chopping around sideways. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.